What's up, everybody? Welcome to The Revival. My name is JJ, and I beat those 20 games. Okay, so as I said in the intro, I finished all 20 games. I've kind of also hinted a little bit. If you listen to the Pixel Perspective podcast that I do with Adrian, I have kind of slowly been going over the things that I've played, and so I've kind of been working my way through the list. For those of you that don't know, if you're new here or you haven't watched any of my older videos, every year, I just started doing this last year, but this is the first year that I've kind of not really chronicled it, but at least gave the list. I tell myself I'm going to beat 20 games by the end of the year, and I write them all out, and then I just make it a goal to beat those games and knock them off my backlog. Last year that included new games. This year it did not. So new games were in addition to those. I wanted to get games that are have been sitting in my backlog for a while off of there. So that's kind of where my mind was at when I was putting that list together, because new games I'm gonna, most of those I'm gonna end up playing anyways. So I was done a lot quicker than I thought I would be. So I'm super excited because now the end of the year, now towards the end of the year, I can just play what I want. Funny thing is I've been kind of stumped as to what to play, but I'm actually gonna be firing up Xenogears here pretty soon, which I've played and beaten. It's obviously my second favorite game of all time, but we're going to be doing a show on it on Pixel Perspective. So definitely look into that. And quite frankly, if you've never played it before, give it a shot. Then you can, follow along the show and kind of listen to our thoughts and whatnot. So super excited to get back into that game. But I figured, since I did finish early, why not do short little rapid fire reviews on what I thought of each of those. Last year I worked right up to the end of the year to finish those 20 games. So I don't know, I'm wondering if maybe they were just shorter this year or what. I honestly have no clue because I had a lot more going on this year too. So I genuinely have no idea. But either way, so also I'm not going to review the 2 games that I have done full reviews on. Obviously I'm not going to talk about those. And this video is going to be split up into 2 parts. So first is going to be first 10 games, second going to be second 10 games. And I will also link the original video down below as well. So, yeah, let's get into it. And if I have the boxes, I will show those. If I don't, then I'll just put a little, picture or something of the box art up so you can see it. So first up is a game that I don't have a box for, and that is Bioshock Infinite. I beat that. You know what? I'm not even going to try to remember when I beat all these because it's all kind of a blur at this point. I do remember the games, I just don't remember when I beat them all. But when I played through it, I was really, really blown away by how many times the story just made me go oh damn, I didn't see that. Okay, all right, this is serious. When I saw the trailers in the when it first came out and everything, I was thinking lighthearted adventure and stuff like that. And I played the other Bioshock games, so I know there's some mature themes and stuff like that. But this one was pretty freaking dark for the light aesthetics that the game starts out with. It's just kind of it takes a dark turn just like that. I thought that was really cool. For me, I enjoyed it overall. I think it overstayed its welcome a little bit though. I just kind of felt like it was a little bit too long, a little bit too much padding. Not that it was bad, I still had a fun time with it, but I would say definitely give it a shot. If you like any of the Bioshock games, it's great. It's a little lengthy for my taste, that's all. But great game nonetheless. Second up is another one that I don't have the box art for. I thought I did, but apparently I only have the second one. I played it on the Xbox One Virtual Console, and that is Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. I would love to see a remake of this game. because it's so freaking cool and there's so much going on and the ideas there are so great. But man, it's rough to look at and the environments are so empty and it's just really, it's tough to get through nowadays, just because it's everything feels so dated. But the story and everything involved with that, and even the gameplay mechanics are really fun. I would just like to see a remake of that, to, you know, kind of just beef it up a little bit, make it a little more modern, because there's so much good stuff there. I'd like to see a new one, quite frankly, even though I haven't played the second one all the way through either. So, but yes, so I like that one as well. Illusion of Gaia on the Super Nintendo. I do have this one. Really fun little action RPG on the Super Nintendo. If you have the chance to play this, do it for sure, especially if you like Super Nintendo RPGs. My only gripe was that it was way more linear than I was expecting. I was thinking more like Secret of Mana kind of thing, where you can pretty much go anywhere at any point for the most part. And like, you know, you have parts where the world just opens up to you and you can fly around and go to different places. This is pretty linear from start to finish. Really fun, tough game, especially towards the end. The boss rush at the end just, it just brutalized me. But I was able to do it finally, and I definitely recommend it if you're into Super Nintendo games in general, quite frankly. I keep looking off to the side because I've got my list here, because there are a couple that I don't have the box art for, so I apologize for if it just looks weird, like, why does he keep looking off to the side? Albert Odyssey. I had a rough start with this, not because of the game, but because of my Sega Saturn. I have a refurbished one that I bought really cheap, and I mean, it works fine, but the save battery inside the system was dead, so it couldn't save anything. So I had to replace that, which was super easy. Oh my god, I was not expecting it to be that simple. It's literally just a plug into the back kind of thing. So that was I was really glad about that. Then the game froze a couple of times on me mid-play. So that was always in the back of my mind, like, how long am I going to play before this thing freezes on me again, you know, whatever. But, kind of the same veins of, you know, Super Nintendo RPGs, this is right up your alley if you're a fan of those. Not worth the price tag. Go look on eBay what this thing is going for. It is not worth that. The only reason it's that much is because it's rare, and it's a Sega Saturn game. If you can get your hands on it, if you can find a way to play it, it's a fun little adventure. A little disjointed with the story, just because you play through a whole part and then it kind of like turns into something else, and it's like, oh, I guess we're doing this now. So it's a little odd in that respect, but the aesthetics, the graphics, it's just a beautiful game, and I love the box art. The box art looks so cool. So I definitely recommend it if you can get it reasonably. So, yeah, unless you're a hardcore collector and money is no object, I wouldn't go out of your way. Yeah, Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Finished this one relatively recently. My favorite in the series so far. I would put it up there with the Ezio trilogy, because I really like that one too. I enjoyed the hell out of it. The pirate ship combat, the regular Assassin's Creediness of it. I honestly really like the story too. I like how they didn't focus as much on the real world stuff, the present day, I should say, and they did most of it in the Caribbean setting. That was a welcome change, and from what I understand, it does that more moving forward in the series. So I'm really excited about that as well. Like I said, I'm working my way through this series, and they just keep getting better and better. So I'm super excited to see what's next. I think Syndicate is next on the list. So I'll definitely be checking that out soon. I might try to beat that before the end of the year, quite frankly, because I really want to get to the newest ones, like Odyssey. So I'm like in Origins. I'm really excited to get to those, and I need to get through a handful before I do. So, but yes, definitely enjoy the hell out of this one. Next, Persona 4 Golden on the Vita. It's Persona. If you've ever played a Persona game, you know what to expect. At least 3 and 5 are the two that I played before this. I haven't played 1 or 2, so I don't know how different those are. But it is very much like 3 and 5, gameplay style-wise, and that's not a bad thing at all. They are addicting as hell, and you get into that mindset of, alright, I'll play one more day. All right, I'll play one more day. Okay, I got time for one more. And then 4 hours later, you're like, one more. Oh my God, I've gone through 3 months in the game. You know, it took a while. I think this took me around 75 to 80 hours to beat. I think either this or Dragon Quest VII they were the two longest by far of the year that I played. I really, really enjoyed this though, and I am quite frankly like I am persona'd out at the moment. I really, really enjoyed playing through 3, 4, and 5. But man, they're heavy games, so I'm glad to be able to take a break finally from those. But definitely, if you have not played one, any one of those 3 is a great jumping in point, so I highly recommend it. I would say 5 because it's the one I started with and it hooked me on the series. But 3 and 4 were still very, very great. So the cast is really good in that one. Actually, there is another one that I beat that oh my God, I'm so frustrated because I thought I had it and I don't. Star Tropics. I cannot find my cartridge, and I'm like heartbroken because I have so many memories with that thing. So I'm probably gonna have to find another copy at some point, which is really, really frustrating because I've had that for so long. I don't know, but I did beat that finally, and I played it on the Switch because they had that on their monthly thing where you can download those games. Another tough game. You know, it's original in NES, so it's not easy and it's unforgiving. But it's fun. It's like Zelda with yo-yos. It gets a little weird towards the end because you're fighting aliens and stuff. After all, it is just like the whole beginning is like exploring island caves and like going to villages and that kind of thing. But it's a really, really fun game, and I highly recommend it to anybody who really likes, you know, any NES games, old school, that kind of stuff. I would imagine most of you that do like those kind of games have already played Star Tropics. I enjoyed the hell out of it though, so I would say if you have not tried it, give it a shot for sure. Like I said, if you've got a Switch and you've got their online subscription, it's included in that. So give it a shot, see what you think. The next 2 are, one is one that I'm not going to talk about here, and that is Shining Force. I played both of these games on here. Shining Force I played on the Sega Genesis Classic, now that I think about it, not on here, but it is on here. But I won't be talking about that one because I did a full review on that, so go check out that review if you'd like to go see that. The other one, though, that I did play on here, Phantasy Star 3. That was a tough one to get through. I think the concept was so cool of being able to, like, go through the game in a section, and then you get married, have a kid, and you decide who you marry, and depending on who you pick to marry, that's who your kid is, and that's who your main character for the next leg of the journey is. And then they get to choose somebody to marry who has a kid then, and depending on who you pick, that's who your kid is for the last leg of the journey. I thought that was such a neat concept. The problem is it's so slow-paced and so directionless. Man, I have said it before on Phantasy Star 1 and 2, if you played those games back when they originally came out, man, big props to you, because I could not have done that. I just would not have had the patience for it. Not only is it easy to get lost and tough to find your way around and where to go, but there's a ton of backtracking. The combat is like, there's so much of it. It's like every 3 steps, it's really high. And you don't get any vehicles. You get a way to teleport around, not even teleport, but like travel a little faster towards the end of the game, like very end. But up until that, it's such a slog. So it is tough to get through, but I'm super excited to get to 4 because people have compared that to the greats on Super Nintendo, which is my bread and butter. So we shall see. Definitely excited for that. But I'm glad I played it because I love seeing that progression in a series, you know, from 1, 2, 3, and then next 4. And lastly, for this video, I played I think so. Let me double check my list. Yes. Lastly, for this video, Metal Gear Solid. I played the original one for the first time ever. I'd never played it before. Played it on here, and I appreciate it. It's kind of a running thing this year, quite a bit, because that's how I felt about Dark Souls. There's a lot to like there, but it was rough to get through. I'm just so bad at stealth games. I talked about this on Pixel's Perspective. I am so bad at just any kind of stealth whatsoever in games. And I died so many times in the very first room in this game because I couldn't figure out how to punch people. I couldn't figure out how to grab people. I was terrible at sneaking around. I didn't know what items to pick up. I didn't know how to use said items. I mean, it took a while. Once I got in the groove and I figured out the controls and all that stuff, it was neat going through and seeing where this series began, because I played 2 and I've played 5. 5 was so much fun to play. And I really enjoyed 2 from what I remember as well. So will I ever play Metal Gear Solid 1 again? Probably not. No, it's not really for me. But I'm glad I did, because it's such a really iconic piece of gaming history. So for that alone, I'm really glad that I got to play it. So yeah, that is the first 10 games. Next week I will go over the second 10 games that I played for the year. And I'm super stoked to make a new list for next year as well. So can't wait. Yeah, thanks for watching. Look next week for the other games that I went through. And like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. You know the drill. And as always, keep on gaming.